What's going on, y'all? Happy Friday. Josh here, not from PokeJax. Today we're going to talk a little bit of market. As always, disclaimer: I'm a Timmy to Timmy's when it comes to market. I'm a business, so I solely purchase from distribution, the turn and burn. I don't save anything, so what I have to say could completely be wrong, but this is just my observation. And first, I'm going to go into Pitch Black, which released today. I remember these booster boxes being around the 230 at one point, and as of today, its market price is 207, a drastic drop, almost 20%. And I believe that's because most stores today got their inventory and they're just dumping it, and that's their way of moving the product. But you can see, a couple days ago it was 245, 245. And then you had a big jump here back in June. It was 294. So the big thing for me to y'all is just pay attention to the pre-order prices. Obviously, 61 of them sold. People are buying them. I get it. They want to secure their product. They want to make sure they have it if they're going to open it or they're using it as a sealed investment. But it took quite the dip since the 21st into today. Why aren't you? I apologize. My computer's not wanting to play right. But basically, market's 207 right now. Look at the month view. As you say, the dip right there, 299. It starts dipping, dip, and then day of release, dip hard. Big dip to 206. That's our current market price. 444 of those items sold today on the 17th today for a 22% decrease. So just be wary when pre-ordering. Even through my second distributor, I have to be very wary about what I'm producing. I don't know if that's the right word. Basically, buying, because I think they base their pricing off of pre-order pricing. So if I know a product is going to drop, I typically won't buy it. I'll wait, or I might hold it. If I was an investor. Because as you can see the trend here, we had a high point back in the 23rd of June at 295, 17 of those sold. Kind of, streamlining, and this just took a big decrease down to 206. And like I said, I think that's because today's release day. All the online stores are posting it online, fire selling it, trying to make their profits while they can. I would want to say that I would venture to say maybe, I don't know, that, once the product becomes a little more scarce, it'll go back up a little bit. And then when wave 2, it'll take another dip. Kind of like Chaos Rising. Like I said, I know I'm getting another wave of pitch black. But yeah, I just kind of want to show it there. The first trusted, one, let's see, the biggest trusted seller right now. It's kind of weird looking at it. You got 210, 1,000, 10,000 plus sales, 92%. Let's see how far we can go back. It is kind of curious to look at. 100%, 59 sales, 100%, 489 sales. So it's kind of weird looking at this and seeing. All right, this one I always say is pretty reputable. I mean, they got 100%. I would say anybody that's in the 99 percentile is probably reputable. They probably had one day of bad shipping or something, but 210, $5 shipping, 22. They have 2,298 sales. But it's just interesting looking at it and seeing who these sellers are and how much they've sold. Like I said, it could be an online store, could not be. I don't know. Some of the names are weird. Like, I would trust this in heartbeat. 99.8% probably had a bad shipping of some sort. 50,000 sales. Here's 100%, 10,000 sales. There are 219. If you're all about finding the minty boxes, I sell at MSRP. From my main distro, so I typically don't have. I try to make sure that everything it looks good, and I make sure I wrap it and pack it extremely well. It's just sometimes some things do come from distro and they are damaged of some sort. Either inside the ETB has a weird fold, or the booster box little tape on the top, not the tape, but the little taper piece that pops up might be a little popped out. I can't control that. Yeah, I haven't had too many customers complain about it. Like I said, they're buying at MSRP. If I would be selling at market, I would try to make sure it was in pristine condition. That's just kind of the how the internet has portrayed things now with these minty boxes. People talk about minty boxes all the time. You know, uh, if you know, protect your assets, put them in acrylics always. And now we're going over to the pitch black ETBs. They were sitting around one. This is just a plain pitch black ETB. It was sitting at 185, and then it took a dramatic dip to 148. And then here we are, release day at $82. So pretty dang close to MSRP. MSRP is it's almost 2x MSRP. Um, sold 835 to between the 15th and the 17th. We'll go to the 1 month view, get a better idea. So today 481 have sold at today with that decrease of 33%. So 33% from the month. That is a pretty big dip. Pretty big dip. And like I said, I would anticipate once the product kind of dries up, all these online stores or all these quick flippers or whatever you want to call them, get the product out or get scarce. It might trend up a little bit, and then when wave 2 comes around, it'll trend back down. It did have a big sell of 989 back on July 10th. That was probably the pre-release. Yeah, it was about 7 days ago. That was pre-release, and it was kind of, the line was teeter-tottering, but it was pretty stagnant. And then on July 10th, went to 107, and release day, here we are at 82.81. Now, next thing I kind of want to talk about is Lorcana. Lorcana. So I do have some Lorcana coming. I just have a case. And Lorcana's kind of taking the same trend. At release day, it took a big, it's taking a big dip. It did go up a little bit. Back in the early week of July, it was in $1,000 range, and here we are. It's still relatively high, $872. That's for a sealed case. 50 of them sold today. Current market price is $816. I'll go to the month view. Like I said, it's 3% high right now. Like I said, it's release day or pre-release day, so it might be trending downward. And then at release day, which I believe is July 24th next week, it'll probably take another dip. And then once the product becomes scarce, it'll rise. And the reason I say that is I look at Wilds Unknown. So I'll pull up Wilds Unknown booster boxes. So right now, just a single booster box is $217. And you can see right around here, I believe it released that week, and then the product became scarce, and we started seeing the trend upward. It has upward, up, down, up, down, up, down. But right now, your 1 month high, you're sitting at 217. It had higher points in the month of June and July, and then took another dip. But 217, that's still quite a bit over MSRP. As stated before, Lorcana comes from my second distributor. I can't get it through my primary because I'm an online store only, and I don't have the capability of play. Once I retire, I've been tossing up the idea of opening up a shop. I kind of, like I said, I want to get out. I want to do something different, and I think I would enjoy it. I like talking to people. I like interacting with people, and I think, open up a shop to talk shop would be awesome. But, still in the planning stages in my mind. If that's something I definitely want to follow through with, and, find the right location that makes sense. It's just a difficult time right now to open up a store for anything. It's just not enough product and too much demand. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. And we'll go to seal cases real quick just to see where that's kind of sitting at. Where they are, 890 right now. Somebody's selling for 865. But the sealed case, 1 month, went stagnant. And then in July, it just went up. It went up. And I want to say, I can't quite figure out Lorcana, but I want to say the single game in Lorcana is dangerous. And what I mean by that is the iconics, right? They really, I feel that Disney and Ravensburg, really more or less Ravenburger, they're the one that produces or makes Lorcana. They are really making those iconics hard to find. Like, they're really making chase cards hard to find. I've heard people open up a case or a palette or whatever, and it's very difficult to find. And if they gem 10, they're worth a lot of money right off the rip. So I think that plays a big role. in the price of Lorcana and why it's going up because it's a single card game. And speculation, totally my opinion, with PSA not accepting bulk anymore, from my understanding, it's, the single card game has gotten very difficult, and it takes quite a bit of a long time unless you're paying, top dollar to get those cards. So, you're paying top dollar to send a card to PSA, you gem 10 it, then you got to pay sub charge, and then you're paying even more out of pocket, and that what increases the price of the card even more, which leads into my next thing of PremierCardTrading.com. If you use promo code PokeJax, POKEJAX7, you will get a discount on the bulk tier. Give it a shot. 30-day turnaround. I got 30 days. I submitted some stuff for the 30-day. I didn't do the 7-day, but once I get it in, I'll do a little video of it. But give it a shot. I respect Rudy. I respect him going after PSA. Join the Spartan battle again. David the Goliath, whatever you want to call it. But again, promo code POKEJAX7, PokeJax7 will get you a discount on your bulk tier submissions. With that said, that pretty much concludes today. I just kind of wanted to cover that. Just be careful. Really, the topic of this discussion is, hey, just be wary of the pre-orders. I get it. Like, everybody wants their product, they want to lock it in, but just be wary, because as you can see, somebody that might be an investor bought in here, and now we're sitting here, and this is just ETBs, but personally, I don't feel that Pitch Black will go up any higher. Probably sit around that same range as Chaos Rising. I think everybody in their mind right now is thinking 30th anniversary or the new Rayquaza set that's going to be coming out. So Delta Rain's Japanese. I don't think they came out with the English name for it yet, but it's just what I see. Like I said, it's just a very odd trend. I noticed it during Chaos Rising, and now again I've noticed it during Pitch Black, which makes me weary about my second distributor and how I want to keep product available, because if the price is based off of a pre-order market price, then I don't know if that's the smartest move for me. And what I mean, it's not a smart move for me, and also doesn't help y'all in the process of me being able to keep product available. Like I said, I like to try to keep things reasonable as possible. I'm not trying to rake you over the coals. At the same time, I'm trying to stay in business. So just keep that in mind. Keep your wallets in mind with pre-orders. And if you're Rip and Stripper, wow, Rip and Shipper, that might be your way to go. I don't know. I don't partake in that, but just this is my 2 cents. Watching the last couple of days, especially with Pitch Black, I've been watching the last couple of days, and Lorcana in the last couple of days, the 2 new sets that are coming, and how the market has reacted. It's surprising how quick the dip is coming. So other than that, I wish y'all nothing but the best. Y'all have a outstanding weekend. If I don't come on video anymore, I do appreciate the love and support. And there was quite a few people that did not accept the MSRP lottery. So I'm just going to list all that stuff online once I get it in hand. So good luck to you all, and best wishes. 904 out.